people that are new. So if we can pinpoint people that are coming here for the first time, do we have anyone out there that's coming in for the first time? Looking around.
I am. Priscilla, welcome, Priscilla.
Yep, absolutely.
Priscilla, you want to say something about yourself?
Just hello. I love the way that this started off. I feel like I'm in the right place. But I'm here because I just finished the coding bootcamp, WinCode, and that's how I got introduced to Agile. And then I read the Scrum guide, and I fell in love, and I just got certified to be a Scrum Master. So I'm starting to look for that first role. So that's why I'm here, to connect.
She fell in love. Wow.
I know it sounds so dramatic.
No, it's awesome.
But it's so true. It's so true. I couldn't believe. I was like, this is a job that I couldn't believe it. So
paid for this? You get paid for this?
Yeah. I was shocked. So
there's lots
happy to be here.
There's lots of challenges that come with it.
Yes, yeah, of course, like anything, yeah. But
so you're in the right place, and we welcome you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else that we have that's new to our meetup?
Dilip. Here.
One person at a time. Sorry, who was that? Marcelo.
Dilip.
Yep. Yeah. Hi. This is Dilip. I'm in Tampa Bay, and DevOps is quite new to me, just around a couple of years, and I don't know how I came across this meetup, and I'm here.
So I'm somewhat new as well, Rick and Marcelo. So it must be my first time probably on this meetup. So glad to be here.
All right, awesome.
Welcome. I don't know if Michael Pierce and Dario.
Mike's been here before.
Yeah, hi guys. Yeah, I've been here before. I'm not here often, but I thought I'd peek in and say hi. So basically, for those of you that don't know me, I've been a Scrum Master and formerly a product owner at IPC. That's where I came to know Rick many years ago. And yeah, just wanted to check in and join the conversation.
Mike, picture looks great, Mike. I know you look just like the picture. You know, I haven't seen your face in a while. Show yourself, sir.
Yeah, let me get my video going here.
All right, that's okay. Just at the end, we're gonna take a picture. So make sure, again, at the end, we take a nice little picture. Make sure your hair looks good. Okay.
Yeah.
But thanks, Mike, for joining us. Anyone else?
We've got Dario. I'm not sure about Heidi.
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Hey, how? This is my first time here actually, and software developer, just interested in Agile style, and because I want to get into touch also into QA tester.
Wow.
And what now? So I'm this is my first time here, but I like the energy of the group, and yeah. Hi everyone. I can't activate the camera now, but I'll be doing it as soon as I get home.
Okay, awesome. Because we're probably going to dance at the end too. Go ahead, Regina.
Drive safely.
Yes, please drive safely.
Yes.
I'm
Anyone
Heidi.
else out there? That's
I'm Heidi, and this is my second group. I am recently furloughed from my job because of COVID-19. But I've worked on several Agile teams as a developer. And while I've been furloughed, I got my Scrum Master certification. So I'm trying to find a job as a Scrum Master, but they all want experience. So I don't know how that's going to work out. But that's why I'm here.
Heidi. We can help you with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Heidi. All right.
It's really difficult.
You're right, and opening the doors, but we have several activities. Have you joined us on Saturday yet, Heidi? Just want to make sure.
No, you have a Saturday meeting?
Yeah. We have a really nice Saturday meeting that actually gets you hands-on experience as well. So you want to make sure you join us. And I'm going to ask the magic, how much does it cost, Marcelo, to join us today and on Saturday? Talk to us. How much is it?
Free as in beer.
We're Free as in beer. Remember
My
that.
husband brews beer, so I can provide that if necessary.
There
Oh,
you
she
go.
needs to stay.
I already have a,
That's it. She pays. That's it.
I already have a glass. There you go.
And I'm up in the Tampa area now. I came from South Florida and moved up here recently, and then COVID happened.
It's changed a lot of us, but thank you, Heidi, for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else that's new? I see. Any other?
Got a few out there.
We're not even going to be able to get started. There's so many new people. We're not even going to be able to get started, Regina. Sorry. We'll talk to you like in an hour. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see you back in a little bit. Yeah.
All right. All right. So we're seeing people come in. Again, as they come in, we'll continue to have some further conversations. But again, thank you very much, Marcelo, myself, and Regina. So happy to have you guys here. We've been doing this for a long time, not just through COVID, because that's a start. We've been doing this every week now for almost, 6 months, 6.5 months? I don't know. It keeps growing. I keep losing track of this, but we've actually been, SFAA since 2013. That's right. 2013, we've been helping the community, helping leaders, helping them through their transformation. My name's Rick Reguera, and I do work for Transformation Experts. Just understand Transformation Experts does help with some of you mentioned certification classes, where we're also doing that also here in this remote world as well. And it seems to be really, really picking up steam. Our latest and most exciting news is that we just got approved for Certified Agile Leader. So many of you are going into Scrum and understanding that. We all ask you to play a leadership role as well. Everyone has to be a leader in this Agile. So if you're interested in that certification class, it's actually just a one-dayer, so you don't have to take up your whole weekend. And that's coming up, I believe, and when is it? Maybe I'm trying to remember the date.
October 24th.
October 24th.
I'll share the information on the chat, yeah.
And I think we're actually going to give you a discount too, at 20%, if you guys are interested. So again, we appreciate you coming over here. Keep in mind that we are a giving community. We do this on a regular basis. We do this for Wednesday. And like I said earlier, we also have Saturday sessions. Keep in mind, some of you mentioned experience, and that's one of the toughest things that we face. How do we get more experience? How do I get, well, in Saturday, we actually break out into smaller groups. We have a Spanish group. That's it. They're talking Spanish and talking about the major things that Agile is providing for them. And they're going through that motion, which is amazing. Then we have the beginners. If you're starting Agile for the first time and you really want that support group that kind of helps you walk you through, what does it look like? We have a group there for you as well. We have a group for advanced. Oh, so you're 6 years, 7 years in Agile. Oh, excuse me. Guess what? We got some challenges for you too there, where we're actually talking about more complicated, more difficult topics like working with C-levels or working with scaling. Those are some interesting, difficult topics to talk about. And then, of course, we have this other initiative, which is really, really cool, where we're actually building a product. So think about it. Many of you said that you guys were Scrum Masters. Imagine if we had an app that would help you through that process. Yeah, there are some out there, but are they really ones that you depend on? So we're working on one. Imagine being part of that, producing that app and putting that in your resume. And we're actually going to build it. So we're going through the process of doing that. So really a lot of spectacular things. And I don't want to take up too much of her time because I have an amazing speaker. She's very, very close to me. Regina Batista, we're so happy to have you. If I could tell you a little bit about Regina, let me see, how would I start? I would start that I think she also saw the light. I know somebody mentioned earlier about the love for Agile and the love, and I can't believe we're getting paid for this, right? I passionately think that there was a moment in time where she saw it and she's like, wow, what a change, what an experience. And I was luckily close to her when that happened. So I actually felt like many times as Agile coaches, we forget the first experience of going through this. And it's nice to see it in other people's eyes and others. And and other people's, pathway. So it was really, really encouraging to see her. And she has so much experience that she complements not just the Agile, but everything else that goes around it, which is really, really powerful. So I'm so happy to have her here presenting. Regina Batista, it's all yours, young lady.
My goodness.
Wonder Woman.
After that,
Yes, Wonder Woman.
I don't think I could say anything after the intro, but thank you, Rick. Thank you, everybody. I'm super excited to be here with all of you. It's been, I guess, a little while since I've shared with you all some of the great things that I've been learning, right? And so I hope to do that today. I hope to make this very interactive. So I'm gonna ask some questions. I'm gonna ask Neilu not to mute everybody, because we're gonna have some discussions, and I want to be able for you guys to be able to ask questions and then also share some of your learnings based on the topics. So what I am gonna ask is, Neilu, please, if you folks can raise your hand, right? As we go through the different topics, and I may reach out to you, and then let me know who raises their hand, because I may not be able to see everybody on the screen. Is that cool? Okay, so I think I need to share here. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Neilu, I think we're good, right? Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
1 second.
We're good.
Share my screen. Don't look at my computer. I've been working all day, so I got a million things open. But I've got my PowerPoint here. Can everybody see my PowerPoint?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, awesome. So let me see. Okay, and you guys could see here. Okay, so yep.
Could you go to display settings? There you go.
Duplicate slides. Awesome.
No. Okay.
Yep. Can you guys see the slides?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. So I am a partner with Transformation Experts, and we sponsor the South Florida Agile Association and all of the community activities. I'm very passionate about Agile, like Rick was saying. I have a story that one of these days, maybe in one of the exercises, I always say I met an Agile coach who changed my life in a lot of different ways, but I saw the light, and it all had to do with the pain points that I was experiencing in my current roles, right? And to actually understand that there's a different way of working, there's a different way of communicating. I was very excited about that opportunity, and it's been an amazing journey. I always say Agile is a journey, it's not a destination. So I want to be able to share that with you guys today. And that's a little bit about me. And today, let's get straight to the point. We're going to talk about to be or not to be an Agile coach. That is the question. So I'm quoting my friend Shakespeare. Everybody's always asking, what is an Agile coach? What does it take to be an Agile coach, right? And because in a lot of the surveys that we've ran, that question always keeps coming up, I thought that would be a great topic to share with all of you today. Sounds good? You guys excited?
Yay.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to talk about the different Agile coaching levels in an organization. We're going to look at the multiple Agile coaching capabilities. We're going to look at professional coaching, coaching as a facilitator, coaching as a mentor, coaching as a teacher. And then we're going to talk about a new phrase that when I learned about it, it also changed my perspective about leadership. It's the word servant leadership, okay? But I don't want to give too much away. Neilu, help me out here. We're going to have some Jamboards. So we are going to do some exercises, and Neilu is going to put on the chat the link to the Jamboard. How many of you have used Jamboard before? Or how many of you have used remote whiteboards? It's super simple. What I would like to ask is that you take a look at the chat, double click on the link, and make sure that you have that Jamboard opened on your browser. It preferably works better with Chrome, but it would be fine with whatever else you've got. But if you got Chrome, that'd be great. Keep your cameras on, please. We believe in face-to-face interaction, and that almost kind of makes us feel like we're in the training rooms or that we're in the meetups, especially when we're having conversations. We're also going to be using poll everywhere. So when we get ready for that, Neilu will also put that on the chat. Neilu, you good?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. And by the way, Neilu is our admin. She does a great job A lot of the community already knows her. And Nelu.
Hey.
And she works for Transformation Experts. So thank you, Nelu. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, Agile Coaching Introduction. So we are going to go to the Jamboard now. And we're going to ask actually, no, this one is Poll Everywhere, Nelu?
Yes, ma'am. We have the Poll Everywhere there icon, yes.
Okay, so we're going to go to Poll Everywhere. So if you see in the chat, please click on Poll Everywhere, and you're going to answer 2 questions. The first question that we want to know is how many of you are in organizations that actually have a role called an Agile coach? That's the first question. And it's a yes or no answer, okay? If you work for a company that nobody has the title of Agile coach and nobody has that role, then the answer would be no. And if the answer is yes, then the answer is yes.
Should we respond if we're not working for a company right now?
Or let's say you've worked in a company where you have had the role of an Agile coach.
How do you respond?
Did you have a question? Go ahead.
Regina, how do you respond, yes or no?
Correct. Yes or no?
No, how? How do I respond?
Oh, you go to the chat and you see there the Poliv link.
Oh,
and you click, yes, you have to click there and then answer the question, yes.
Okay, so this is interesting. Nelu, you're sharing, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Nelu is actually sharing your responses. So we got 40% have been in companies or are in companies that have an Agile coach, but up to almost 60%, you are in companies or have been in companies that do not have that role. Okay. That is an interesting statistic to have. Let's go ahead and answer the second question. What value does an Agile coach bring to an organization? From a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest.
Gina, I love the honesty on the poll. For someone to put a 1, that's pretty cool. I'm wondering if they made it by mistake or they actually did that. That's pretty cool that they.
And that's okay, guys.
Feel that way.
This is a safe environment. Please understand that. And this is really good statistics that we actually want to know. So we appreciate that. Okay, so this is really good. So what does that tell us? That tells us that there's a lot of unknowns about the role of an Agile coach, that a lot of organizations don't understand the value of an Agile coach or what the role of an Agile coach is at the many different levels, or the benefit that an Agile coach can bring to an Agile transformation, to Agile teams, to changing the mindset, to actually teaching and learning and mentoring and facilitating. So this is really good. This is really good. So what that tells me is that I'm glad that we're going to talk about this, because that way, you know, maybe we'll ask you the same question at the end. And maybe some of you might still feel the same way, and we're totally good with that. But maybe you might take away, hey, a learning or something that maybe you could even go share with your organization. So this is really good. We really appreciate this. Okay, I'm going to go back to sharing. So let me ask you a question. What do you think some of the reasons are why some of the organizations don't understand the value of Agile coaching, or of that role, of actually having that role? What do you think some of those reasons are?
Because they've implemented Agile themselves without looking for guidance of a coach.
Okay. What else?
I think also because they don't see straight up physical returns from it.
Okay.
Maybe they don't have buy-in from the top all the way down.
They don't have buy-in. Okay.
If the Agile coach does their job well, they're almost transparent. The management sees the success of the Agile transformation and doesn't understand how important the coach is to that success. Because we constantly talk up how great Agile is. You know, you'll see improvements of 100%, 200%. And when they see it, they say it's the methodology or the mindset, not the coach.
But we're going to talk about the different levels of coaching that could perhaps hopefully help answer a lot of the very good points that you guys brought in. So that's very good. Thank you for answering that. Let me get back over
I
here.
think Saba had a question. Saba?
Okay.
Yeah, actually, it's not so much a question, but also a comment. Perhaps as much as we know that that position is very, very valuable, I think maybe like some higher uppers may not really, because it's like a non-income.
See, the world has changed. You don't need to sell at a
not work generating role. Like they don't see the value is there, but they don't see the productivity of it up front. So maybe that's why they're reluctant about it.
I concur, Saba.
Yeah, I've seen a couple types of organizations that are not that focused on it. They're more focused on the finances or sales, and they don't see value in it versus companies that are more focused on operations, which is where Agile really comes in handy.
Very, very good. All right, guys.
I think, well, so an Agile coach is a particular role. I think there's a need for Agile coaching. I've held leadership positions in many organizations where I was the most knowledgeable person about Agile, and I coached the team on Agile prospects. I was not the Agile coach. I was a director of software development. It doesn't necessarily have to be encompassed in a specific individual who comes in and, you know, throws tea leaves at the team to tell them how to do things. But the Agile philosophy should be carried by somebody in the organization, I think.
So I love that, because many times the Agile coach could be a title, other times it's a capability that is embodied by multiple roles in the organization. That's where we really want to get to. So yes, that is absolutely correct. So with that said, let's look at what are the various levels of Agile coaching. So these are some examples of, if you look at an organization and you look at the role of Agile coaching or the capability of Agile coaching, it has many, many different levels in the organization. So for example, we can have an Agile team facilitator, right? That is coaching individuals and is coaching teams. And the facilitator facilitates practices and collaborates with the teams one-on-one or with the teams. That's the center of the circle that you guys are seeing there. Then you can have an Agile coach that perhaps is at a little bit higher level. Somebody who's coaching multiple teams or is serving the role of coaching multiple teams, develops teams, mentors, advises management, etc. But then remember, we look at everything as a system. We look at the entire organization. And now at the organizational level, we have what you could consider enterprise coaches. And these are the folks that have experience, that are working with the leadership, that are getting those buy-ins. And at that level, guess what? We're doing metrics. We're showing the amount of returns and money that Agile, the transformation, is bringing at the operational and at the organizational level. But we're going to touch on that a little bit more. I just wanted to throw that in because some folks mentioned that. But there's an enterprise coaching level, develops leaders, focuses on culture, and is the Agile change agent across the organization. In enterprise coaching, we also have executive level coaching as well in there. So I just wanted you guys to take a look at this because there's many different levels to what we call Agile coaching. Any questions on this? Okay.
Hopefully there is more than one coach. to address the different issue at the different level.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we can even talk about Agile Centers of Excellence. Those are some of the great communities that organizations are bringing together when you're doing an Agile transformation. Those are some examples. All right, an Agile team facilitator. Give me some examples of roles in your organization that may be doing this. Give me some names.
Scrum Master.
Scrum Master.
Scrum Master, perfect, perfect. Who else could be an Agile team facilitator?
Product owners.
Product owner, right? We've got some technical leaders too, technical leads. They could be Agile team facilitators. The titles may differ, but their role is to do basic facilitation techniques. They mentor, training skills. They could be maybe very focused on one team at a time. They facilitate the activities of the team. They're not so much introducing to the rest of the organization, but they're also change agents. So why not? I'm going to say to that. And they're responsible for Agile adoption as well.
I would argue that I'm an Agile team facilitator. In the teams that I've led in the past, in the teams that I've led in the past, I've rotated the responsibility for example, for retrospective. There's opportunity for people to get more embedded in the notion of Agile and to learn new leadership techniques and facilitation techniques. So I don't think in my opinion, there's not a specific person who is the facilitator. The job of a leader or an Agile coach or whatever is to embed those skills in the team members so that they can do it for themselves.
I love it. And that's what we call self-organizing teams. That's how we take our teams to high performing. And when we coach our Scrum Masters, that's one of the techniques that we always say, hey, what happens the day that the Scrum Master doesn't show up? Does the team still have the daily stand-ups, right? That rotation, that's a great technique. So thank you, Adrian. Okay, now we took it to the next level, the professional Agile coach, right? These are the folks that may be brought in by many organizations to coach multiple Agile teams, right? And so they have a certain level of expertise. You can say that these are folks that could have expertise in multiple Agile frameworks, such as Scrum, Kanban, and other scaling practices as well. They have a level of expertise. They also have some level of experience. Perhaps they were Scrum Masters for a long time. There were other types of leadership experience as well that came into play. But this is also one of the more higher level coaching capabilities. And then the Enterprise Agile Coach. So this one, a lot of folks who have not had Agile coaches in their organizations, this is where a little bit of the gap of knowledge may be, right? The companies who have brought in what they call Enterprise Agile coaches to actually execute an Agile transformation, they bring in people with a world of experience. The folks at this level have had many years of business, technology experience, project management experience, technical leadership experience, business experience. What took them through their journey to where they got to Agile came with a lot of great background, okay? They didn't just become an Enterprise Agile coach because they were Agile. They became an Enterprise Agile coach because they also have a lot of leadership background from many different areas. So when you see folks at this level, they also have a world of experience that then they have pretty much rounded them into, okay, they're transformational leaders, and now they can look at the organization, they can work with leadership, they can get the buy-in. These are the folks that come into the organizations, they analyze the organizational structures. They say, does it make sense for this company to be Agile? What type of roadmap would it look like? Let's look at value stream mapping. Let's take a look at their pain points. Let's take a look at their products and services. How do you take this company, to deliver more to their customers, to get better ROI? But they also focus on the mindset. The mindset is number one, because when you do an Agile transformation, it starts with a culture transformation. So as an enterprise agile coach myself, I want to say that because it is about the mindset and it is about the culture. But the folks at this level, they are providing metrics. They are providing metrics. So, and I'm not going to touch too much on that today, but you have to show progress. You have to show value. And at this level, the folks that are part of this group, they are tracking, you know, their agile transformation benefits. Okay. Any comments from Marcelo or from Rick? I know we got a couple of enterprises coaches also on the line.
My only comment was telling Rick in the background that we need to get you in here more often.
Okay, thank you. No, but there is, and we can talk about more specifically about this one another day because I want to do a more holistic approach. But I think this might be a good one, Marcelo, that we can add for another, like a transformation focused one.
Right, because the way I described this slide is as you go up into the higher levels, what you're looking for is to take that mindset into helping the organization find where our habits, the ones we've kept them, you know, carried around with us, are not helping, and where we can shift those habits to create newer or different behaviors, and those newer or different behaviors shift or change the culture.
I love it. I love it. It's all about the pain points, right? And again, if there's no pain points, there's no need for change, is what we always say. But if there is, where are the areas of improvement?
So Regina, one thing that I would add to this is that even though it says levels, I don't really want to consider it levels because I've seen amazing Scrum Masters that have drilled deeper into the technology piece and have done amazing. And they're at an amazing opportunity for them.
I don't see I see the scope. Yeah, I mean, I know Scrum Masters that could go out there and go right up to the CEO's office and say, you know, this is really not helping, you know, and because of who they are, their demeanor could just like, whoa, I need to pay attention to this person. So.
Absolutely. So what I'm hearing is that the things that they have in common is like these are change agents, and it could also be anybody, right? So the focus is the mindset and being a change agent. I love it. Okay, so yes.
I just want to add one little note. I've been doing Agile consulting and leadership for 15 years, and every leader is different. There are some people who don't want to be told how to do their job. There are some people who want to get better, and the difficulty of the role of an enterprise Agile coach is to understand, you know, the position of the person that they're trying to coach, right? And it's a nuance that is not particularly prevalent in, you know, like software developers. They just want to tell you the facts, right? Science. And it takes, you know, a sensitive listening and understanding the person you're coaching and trying to get them to understand where they can get better.
I think that's great. That kind of leads to our next exercise, Adrienne. So we're going to go out to the Jamboard and we're going to answer the following questions to just straight out of the whole conversation that you guys just contributed to. The two questions are, what are the characteristics of an Agile coach? Characteristics. The second question is, what are the capabilities of skills of an Agile coach? And just, we want you guys to give it some thought because you're going to be learning, but we also want to learn from you. We're going to go out to the Jamboard. Nelu has the Jamboard in the chat. If you can put it out there again, please. And I am going to try to also share it here. Okay, so the first one, oh my goodness, they already started. How'd you guys get here so quickly? I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay, so when you're done with frame 1, please go ahead and go to frame 2, which are what are the capabilities and skills? And I'm gonna time box this. So we've got, I'm gonna give you guys 3 more minutes If some of you have not used Jamboard before, at the top, you see you're in frame 1 of 5. You see the little arrow. If you go to the next arrow, it'll take you to the next 2 of 5. Okay, and can somebody, one of the coaches, please, can you guys help me group these in like with likes in the different frames? I'm also talking to my coaching volunteers. You know who you are. You guys can help out with
You
that.
gotta be careful with hitting clear, Regina. I think they might have hit clear, or there's some blue screen right now on the first.
Oh, okay. Nelu?
I think there's a way to roll that
Not
back.
sure what
Yeah,
happened to
yeah, I'm trying to remove that.
Okay, thank you. Did we lose the stickies?
Yeah, I think we might have lost it on there. I don't see them.
No, it's on the second page. You got to click to the right. What you
Yeah,
were
but
showing was the
there
first
was
page,
there,
not
there
the
was
second
2
page.
pages.
Yeah.
There was 2 pages. You lost the first one.
Yeah.
So one word of advice: do not hit the clear frame. No.
Whoops.
Just FYI.
Okay, we lost the first exercise, which was what?
Can't we undo? I think there's a undo there. There you go. I think we got it back.
No, we're still into the blue screen.
Yeah.
There was things underneath.
So here's the thing. Don't worry.
The person who put the blue there has to undo it.
I don't know. It's white now, but
Okay. So don't worry, because we saw that a lot of folks were giving the same answer in both. So so go ahead and we can look at the second one.
I think the first one's back.
Yeah, and I'm going to challenge one of the stickies that's there. There.
Okay.
See what happens.
Because I think we got some characteristics in here as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are we good with the grouping? I'm going to stay in frame number 2, guys, okay? Because unfortunately, and you guys did a great job in frame number 1, so our apologies for that. Okay, let's take a look at this, because I think our time box is up. What are the capabilities and skills? And we also talked about characteristics that you guys think that is needed to be an Agile coach, okay? And again, the definition of a coach is a little different for everybody. So it's either you're hired as an Agile coach, or you have that you're fulfilling that role in whatever title you have at your organization, because you might be like a person of knowledge in that area, okay? Emotional intelligence. Let's talk about that. Spatially aware. Spatially aware. I got a tongue twister there. Spatially aware. It's a good word. Empathy. I love that. This is going back to some of what Adrian was saying, right? That the folks that are in these roles, or that are serving as these roles, that they have to have awareness. They have to have some understanding of the people that they're dealing with, of the situations that they're in, of the different type of leaders that they're dealing with, or team members, and how to handle those situations, guys, is not easy. It is not easy. How to come in and help folks grow, how to help others develop, it is not easy. How to do conflict resolution, it is not easy, okay? But in order to do that, definitely emotionally, intelligence, spatially aware, I love that word, you know, empathy, putting yourself in other people's shoes, humility, absolutely. So I think we're all in agreement with that one. Let's see. Knows how to connect the dots. Yes, very, very important. Seeing all the different sides, right? People mover. I love this. Influencer. We're going to talk a little bit about how important influencing is, okay? Because we're shifting the way that we lead. We're shifting from old ways to new ways. How do you because a lot of the times you may have people that don't report to you. So how can we be better influencers? How can we better persuade? Thoughtful, negotiator, absolutely. Knows how to ask the right questions in the right times. We're going to talk about what type of questions should an Agile coach be asking. Enabler, disenabler, okay? Who wants to talk about that one?
Sometimes there's behaviors that are not productive, and an Agile coach needs to act like a mirror to demonstrate when a particular behavior that's being exhibited by a person or a team it's not working. They need to be honest enough to disenable the behavior that isn't productive. So if you can't be honest enough with them, how are they going to recognize it? If they've created this negative behavior within them, you've got to help disenable that behavior.
But with disenabling, this is Flower, there is the emotional intelligence that actually dovetails into it, because you can't be curt. There has to be empathy. There has to be a sense of compassion as well.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, you will also become a mentor.
Yeah, but recognize, Flower, that a mentor also, it can and sometimes needs to be direct, so that there is no question about this is not acceptable. Okay, because you can use nonviolent communication, okay, but still be very succinct and not waver from that. Okay, because quite frankly, when you're talking about behaviors, especially negative behaviors, if you waver as an Agile coach, please, people are going to get away with whatever they're going to get away with, especially if it's a long-standing behavior. So I agree with you.
And I'm in agreement.
Great.
But I guess where I was going is choosing your words, being tactful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm talking about being honest and resolute with things.
And I guess that's where the situational awareness comes in. You know your audience, right? Which goes back to that emotional intelligence piece of it, which goes back, I saw the word here, trust. You know, building, how do you build relationships is, you know, how do you build trust is by building relationships, right? And being able to get to that point where you have enough trust that you can have certain conversations. And as we know, guys, it's a balance. We know that doesn't happen from day one, regardless on what type of leadership role that we're in. So I'm in agreement with both of you. But yes, you got to be able to call things out, because if not, then things are going to continue to go a particular way as well.
Flora and I were conspiring in the background to actually have this conversation. You didn't know that. So we were already.
That's right. We were colluding.
I love it. I love your background, Flora. But with that, you got to listen. You got to be patient. You got to be good listeners. Inquisitive. I love that. So listening, yes, we're going to talk about listening. We're going to talk about powerful questions today. Conflict resolution. That's where that balance come in, and that situational awareness comes in. And do people trust us enough to bring us in to help them, right? It's not easy. It takes time. Willing to make amends. Generous with beer. There you go. I always say, bring food. People will welcome you if you bring food, right? Understanding the bigger picture. So I love what I'm hearing. Is there anything in here that anybody is seeing for the first time? Is there anything that wow, I haven't seen that before, and I didn't think, you know, that was a capability or a characteristic? Is there anything that anybody wants to call out?
Spatially aware is weird to me.
Spatially aware. Yeah, I like that. Was a new that's a tongue twister for me, but I like that one. That's my favorite one.
The disenabler. So the perspective, the way I think Marcelo was mentioning, that's a new thing, right?
I love it. Yeah, because you got to look at both sides. You got to look at both sides.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. So I'm going to go back to the presentation. Did you guys like this exercise?
Yeah.
All right, let's go look at some other really cool information. So we did the characteristics. We did that, right? So now I got this picture. How many of you have seen this picture before? We're gonna look at a coaching model, okay? Now, this is a professional coaching model. It's specific to Agile. There may be many other coaching models out there, okay? But here's what we're talking about. These are the different capabilities that an Agile coach could have. And it's not necessarily a one-to-one relationship. When we look at Agile coaches, they have one-to-many of these. So let's look at these. Agile and Lean practitioner, teaching, mentoring, professional coaching, facilitation. All right, so we've got under process, professional coaching, facilitation. Under content, teaching and mentoring. You definitely have to be an Agile Lean practitioner. And then we've got your areas of expertise and mastery. Technical mastery, business mastery, transformation mastery. Remember what I said, that the folks in these roles come from many different backgrounds. You don't have to be just from IT. Heck no. You don't have to be just from the business, right? It's a combination of all the different years of experience of where we've all started at that makes us better at the end of the day, right? Any questions on this? Is there anybody that's seeing this for the first time? I got Humberto, I got a couple of heads up. So if anybody asked, what are some of the coaching capabilities? This is one model that we have out here. So let's explore a little bit more. Agile and Lean practitioners, experts in Agile best practices, domain knowledge, and they're experts in the many different Agile frameworks. And it depends on your experience. And it depends on the organizations in which Agile frameworks they've implemented or you've been a part of implementing. Professional coaching, helping others to reach their fullest potential. How can we help others develop and grow? Facilitation, facilitates the activities of an existing Agile team, but it goes beyond this. In the certifications that we do, we talk about master facilitators, about the multiple facilitation techniques. We actually have classes that are just specifically for that. And that's a leadership capability, right? Because you got to be able to facilitate at many different levels. Teaching, I'm a trainer, so teaching is a big one for me, right? Our goal is to teach others. You're a content expert in whatever area of knowledge you have, and you share that. But teaching and training is a capability. Some of us got training to be able to teach. It takes practice. And then there's areas of expertise. Here's my favorite one, mentoring. Mentoring. We're gonna look at the differences between coaching and mentoring. Mentoring is different than coaching. And this is one that I always, for myself, this is one that I always have to go back and review. And always have to go back and test myself. How do I switch from coaching and mentoring? This one takes practice. This is my personal challenge, right? But in mentoring, we talk about, we will walk a path together. We're gonna talk about, what are the multiple options that we can provide the individual that we're mentoring. And we're not really giving advice, we're sharing our knowledge and experience. And then providing them with options, but we're not telling them what to do. And then there's the mastery areas, okay? So how many of you, let me bring up the screen here. How many of you would say that you've got technical mastery? Raise your hand if you've got technical mastery. Awesome. All right, raise your hand if you've got business mastery. See, some people got both. Raise your hand if you've got transformation mastery. Awesome. So it's about being well-rounded, right? But as you guys could see, it goes back to this. It goes back to what does it take to be an Agile coach at the different levels. So let's look at professional Agile coaching. In professional Agile coaching, right, you got to wear many different hats. I can be helping my client, which could be, I can go in and coach individuals, I can coach a team, I can coach a department, I can be helping, you guys are technical experts, right? You can be going in and helping technical areas. You can be implementing new practices. You can be helping take a team to high performing. You can be helping with the mindset. Sometimes we just go in and we talk about mindset because we're doing culture training or culture transformation. But in all of these circumstances and scenarios, right, you may be switching your hat from facilitating to mentoring to teaching to coaching. I want you to look at those four, okay? Because the conversation today is, how much of these four skills do you have? There may be some of you who are great in all four. There may be some of you that may be stronger in facilitating, or just stronger in mentoring, or you're stronger in teaching, or you're stronger in coaching. I want you to look at these and walk out of here today saying, which one of these can I improve upon? Which one am I great at today? And which one do I want to get better tomorrow? Okay, that's my challenge for you all. We're going to talk about that at the end as well. But it all starts with the Agile mindset. Okay, it all starts with the Agile mindset. I can learn a lot about the different processes. I can implement, all the frameworks. But if I'm not being Agile, if I'm not changing the conversation, right? If I'm not walking the, what is it? Rick is always saying, walk the walk, talk the talk. Did I say it right or did I say it upside down?
No, walk the walk.
Walk the walk. If I'm not walking the walk and drinking the Kool-Aid myself, nobody's gonna believe me. Okay, when I go to help others, to think the Agile way. And then honestly, this is my personal opinion, folks may not agree. In order for an organization to be Agile, you got to start with the culture. You got to start with the culture. And you can start in different parts of the organization, but leadership has to buy into that culture change. If they don't, no matter how many amazing Agile teams we're rolling out at the lower levels, things are not going to change for them because there's a lot of things outside of them that they're not going to be able to control. So being Agile and the Agile mindset is number one, regardless of the role that we're in an Agile transformation. And what does that mean? So if I'm an Agile coach and I start with mindset, now I got the opportunity, all right, I'm going to go be an Agile coach. It's about teaching others to fish. And I got many different little fishes here, but it's about developing others, right? How do we do that? How do we do that? Okay, there's a lot more to this. And by the way, we got approved by IC Agile to actually do an Agile coaching certification. So part of this is my practice, okay, of some of the topics that we're going to be doing for the certification is actually 3 days. So that's coming to a theater near you really soon, hopefully. We're getting ready for that. But there's a lot of different perspectives for coaching. And I love this slide because it talks about what are some of the behaviors that we're moving away from and hopefully move towards. So we're going to do this as a discussion, and then I'm going to show you what's on the right-hand side. So guys, what do you think when we say moving away from coordinating individual contribution? What do you think we're moving towards? And it's okay, you don't have to have the right answer. Just give me your food for thought.
Would it be getting the team to think of their accomplishments in a we sense versus a I?
I love it. Love it. Hold on to that thought because I'm going to go to the next one, but please, Priscilla, hold on to that thought. Very good. So number 2, getting away from acting me as a subject matter expertise versus moving towards what?
Collaboration.
It also means not giving them the answers, but making them find it.
There you go. There you go. Right? Instead of, oh, I'm always the one that's like giving everybody the answer. How do you have your team self-organized to get to high performing, right? They have to start thinking. And how do we encourage and influence that? Driving towards specific outcomes versus what?
Delivering value.
Delivering value as a team, your sprint goals, right? For the customer. The next one is knowing the answer, which is a little similar to what you guys said to subject matter expertise. Always knowing the answers versus, asking others, hey, what do you think about that? Number 5, moving away from directing to what?
Being self-directed, self-organizing.
Organizing, influencing, persuading.
Regina?
Yes.
And I would say that even when you're first starting off with folks in any transition, to Agile, okay, always, even when you are being a subject matter expert, say, what do you think about that?
I know it.
End it with a question. Don't make it a statement. Always end it with a question. What do you think about that?
That's a good example. Thank you, Marcelo. Number 6, talking about talking about deadlines and technical options towards what? I think Victoria might have said that one a little bit in your answer. If I go to a team and I'm like, this is it's due by this day versus what?
Value driven, like you said, yeah, what I said earlier.
All right, driving.
Well, in reality, there are deadlines.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
And there are technical options. I had a project once where we had to have our product delivered by the beginning of the Congress in 2010. And, there was a deadline. The Congress starts when the Congress starts. And it was a government portal. And I gathered my team together and I said, what are the technical options? It's not a bad question. What are the technical options about, actually moving the ball forward for the things that are most important on the backlog in order for us to be able to deliver to our clients' satisfaction on January 5th of that next year. And
you hit it on the top.
And it's not about, well, so the notion here is talking about deadlines and technical options is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's important. It's important in a consulting environment. It's important with customers and clients who have deadlines. And so I just disagree with the premise of that particular.
So I think it's about a different conversation, and you said it, looking at the backlog and looking about what's the most important that this team can actually provide based on the technical solutions on that given day, because we have compliance due days, which all organizations do in one way or another. It's about MVP. So I'm agreeing with you. It's about the MVP. We have deadlines. We can't change that. But what is the MVP, minimum viable product, that will give us the most value up front that this team can actually provide by that date?
Right. But this says moving away from those notions. And I think we can't move away from those notions for the clients that have deadlines and have to consider technical options.
So this is a conversation piece, right? It's not black and white. So I think we all understand that.
It's like the Agile Manifesto, where it's not saying that you don't do it. We're saying that we prefer moving towards talking about the MVP than talking about the deadline. But we don't say they don't exist.
And it's moving towards. It's not moving. It's moving away from and moving towards. Moving towards means we're still in that journey, right? And there may be times where you can because of the industries that we're in. Number 7, driving the right, your decision versus what? What would be an option there? What would be the journey there? So I'm going to ask the question a little bit different.
Experimenting.
I love that. I love that. Number 8, fixing problems rather than helping others fix them, which kind of ties back to the other options that we had, right? Let me show this a little bit. So coaching the whole team to collaborate, right, versus focusing on individuals. So Priscilla, you were right. Being more of a facilitator to help others self-organize instead of being the subject matter expert. Being invested in the team's overall performance, right? Which if they're performing well and they're high performing, they are producing outcomes for our customers. Asking the team for answers instead of knowing the answer and instead of directing, right? Letting the team find their own way, guiding, and focusing on the right things that will give our customers and our organization the most value. Focusing on business value delivery, doing the right things for the business, and facilitating team problem solving. So these are many examples. I love the way that Art, that you stated it, that just like the Agile Manifesto doesn't mean that you don't still have process and tools, because in Agile we still have process and tools, right? But that we value the conversation, we try to value that as well. Okay?
Hey, Regina.
Yes.
If you go back to that slide 25, you know what that draws, that brings to mind is the maturity matrix, where we've got a number of the different dimensions, and then you have a certain ring level from beginner out to fully matured capability. And so this seems like, talking to Adrian's point earlier about, we're not going to stop doing that, but that's the beginner level. And as we drive towards a more mature organization, enterprise level or entity level, these capabilities are the more, I guess, more professionalized or industrialized level, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word.
A higher level of maturity, yes. Yes, absolutely. And maybe there's a better way of showing this, more like on a scale, or like a graph. Awesome. All right, any other questions on this? Okay, so guys, we talked about our aspirational behaviors, and those were leadership behaviors. Now we're also going to talk about how do we become better listeners. We're going back to that coaching capability. And a lot of you put in the sticky, in the Jamboard, that coaches and also leaders have to become better listeners. So I just wanted to share with you guys here, okay, some of the levels of listening. You guys can look this up. This is out on the internet. It's nothing that we came up with. But there's something called internal listening. And some of the examples here, it's when you're having a conversation with somebody, when somebody comes to you with a problem or a situation, and you're listening, right? And you're in your thoughts. The person is talking to you, okay? But you're in your head. It's all about, oh, what am I thinking? What am I going to say next? My judgments and my feelings and my expertise, not so much about them. That's what, and you guys can look this up, level 1, internal listening. At this point, you're saying, okay, I hear you. I have some things to add to what you're saying, because you're always thinking ahead. You're thinking ahead of what can I say next? That's an example. It's not a perfect example, but I'm hoping you guys at least get a little bit of the gist. Level 2 is a little bit more focused listening. Your hardwired connection to the other person who's stating their problem, who's stating their issue. You're more focused on them. You're not so much focused on your thoughts or what's around them. So you can be saying, I hear you, I accept you. I'm curious about what you're saying. It's about you. So that would be like a response. Okay, and there's many other examples to this. This is just one of the examples that we're sharing. Because remember, guys, we only have a 1 hour slot in this session, okay? Level 3 is now you're heightening your senses. Remember, you guys talked about your senses, global listening. You're still focused on the other person who's stating the issue and the problem, but now you're also aware of the environment. This is that spatially awareness, right? That situational awareness, that it's your intuition, that you're listening to the problem, but you're also aware of all the many different things that could have impacted how they're feeling and what they're saying. So I hear you, I hear more than just words. I see, I feel everything around us. You're more aware of where that person is coming from and anything outside that could have impacted how they're feeling when they're stating a problem. Have you guys seen this for the first time? Have you guys seen this before? Okay, and there's much more to listening topics out there. This is just one that I thought would be easier for everybody to understand. Okay, so with that said, we're gonna do an exercise. And we got a lot of people on the call. So I would love for you guys to pick 2 volunteers. One is going to state a problem. So if there's a volunteer that can provide a problem, okay, think about it. The other person will ask as the coach, but we're only gonna work in these listening levels. And all you're gonna stick to these listening levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. And you can only respond in level 1, level 2, level 3. And I think it might be easier if I come back and I put this here, because I repeated it here. We're not gonna go to the Jamboard. I'm actually gonna bring up the screen. And I want you guys to see if we can do a quick simulation. And it's gonna be 5 minutes. It's gonna be 5 minutes. So who wants to be our volunteer who has a problem statement?
And the problem statement could be anything related to their personal life. If anybody has some social
project, a problem with a manager, professional, personal.
Okay.
Okay, who's that? Texas, my Texas?
I'll say the problem.
Okay, so I think
Adrian.
Oh, the Texas guy?
Texas, yeah, he likes to put text there for some reason. I'm still wanting him to change that. He hasn't done like 20 sessions. We're having text.
All right, and then I see Karen.
That's a default.
Yep. So who wants to be the person with the problem, stating the problem, and who wants to be the coach?
I want to be the person with the problem statement.
Karen. Okay. So Anthony, do you want to be the coach?
No, thank you.
No.
I may have broken up. This is Adrian. I have a problem that I'll state.
Okay, I think we got Karen volunteer to state the problem.
Yeah, we have more problems than solutions, it sounds
Oh my
like.
goodness. Adrian, do you want to be the coach?
Sure.
Awesome.
Okay. All right, so I am going to keep this up, and I think, is it helpful if I leave this slide on? And as you can see, you can only answer in one way. And this is just a practice, okay? Because we're going to do another powerful questions exercise next. And we're going to go through that exercise. But you can only listen in level 1, level 2, level 3. And start, if you respond to anything, start with like, I hear you, and then make a comment.
Okay, so for those of us who are coaching, how do we know who we're coaching?
No, so I'm only asking for
I
one.
don't know how this works.
We only have one coach and one person stating a problem. And we're actually going to share this with everybody. Everybody's going, and then everybody can provide feedback after. So I'm going to make this bigger. So we've got, so the best way to do this, and I'll tell you, and then Rick, correct me if I'm wrong. If everybody turns off their camera and only Adrian and Karen keep their camera on, then we can see them. They would show up in the screen. And then they can have a conversation.
That would be the easiest way.
Yeah.
Stop video or whatever.
So Karen, you have your camera on. Adrian, keep your camera on. Okay, everybody else, stop the video. And I'm gonna stop my video here. So Nelu, you too? Okay, does everybody see Adrian and Karen? Just say yay.
Yay.
Okay, all right. So Karen is gonna state an issue. And then Adrian, we're just listening, right? And just start with I hear you statements. And I'm gonna time box you guys. So I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes. And this is just a listening technique.
Okay. So do we start?
Yes.
Hi, Karen.
Okay. Hi, Adrian.
Hi.
So
Karen.
So I have this issue that has been bothering me as a Scrum Master. One of my project managers feel that she needs to be in all the events, right from daily stand-up. including retrospective meetings. So she is currently part of the daily stand-up, but I'm trying to keep her away from the retrospective because it's really acting as an impediment for team members to be open enough during the retrospective meetings. So how do I go about this?
Well, so I'm going to use level 2. I hear you, I accept you, and I'm curious about what you just said because I've actually encountered that kind of behavior before. And one of the things that I found helpful in such situations is to have a conversation with a person who perhaps takes over the stand-up or the retrospectives. I had a director, a vice president at GE once who insisted on attending the retrospective. And I was very hard fast about insisting that he not attend them for the same reasons that you've been pointing out, which is that it stifles open conversation. So my suggestion to you would be to have a conversation with the project manager, or I forget what the role was, project manager.
Project manager, yes.
Attend and listen, and only please only offer things that are relevant to the team and that they want to hear, rather than chastising them and that sort of thing. That would.
Right. Awesome. Pause for time's sake. Okay, everybody turn your cameras on. Okay, give me some feedback. Let's give some feedback. What do you guys think about that?
I think it was good. I thought he had a rapport and tries to give advice, or at least directed him to the right person. I would have liked to understand how she's feeling. I would have actually gone more into like, well, how are you? How does that make you feel? When that happens, because I'm curious. Root, even though I'm not a problem solver, but just maybe she can self-reflect. Maybe there's things that she's doing wrong. Maybe it's the problem isn't there. Maybe it's just something that she needs to absorb. One of the things that as a coach, I try to stay away from is this pointing fingers. And every time someone comes to me, I try to get them to self-realize what's in them. What are some things that they're observing? Why is that? Do you have that? Remember we talked about emotional intelligence? Do you have the understanding of why you think that person's doing that? Like I really kind of like dive deeper into their self reflection is something that I look for when I coach. Okay. But I think he did a great job. He had the rapport, he had the conversation. He's leading her to the right thing. So those were my couple of feedbacks there.
So I felt, and I'm gonna tag if you guys don't mind, because we got to move on to the next one. Just when he said he was gonna do level 2. When he started out with "I hear you, I accept you," and then he was, I'm curious about. He threw in a little bit of empathy for me that felt. So Karen, I guess the question should have been to Karen. Karen, how did that make you feel? Let me ask Karen, because that's the important answer.
Yes, I think his response made me feel that he's actually listening to me, and he's put himself a little bit in my shoes to know exactly how I feel.
Okay, awesome. So we're done with this exercise. My apologies, we got to move on to the next one. But just food for thought. Think about this question here. How do we become better listeners? For me, this is a personal challenge. And just to understand the different levels of listening, it's actually good for us to understand, are we focused on the others? Are we more in our head? And then the situational awareness side. So guys, remember this one. All right, that was the listening. Again, these are the skills and capabilities that coaches need to have and that leaders need to have. I was listening. Now we're going to look at powerful questions. So I love this statement. This is Einstein, right? If I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on the solution, I would spend the first 55 minutes determining the proper question to ask. This is really good. Also, as coaches, right? Remember, we're subject matter expertise. It's not about us always giving the answer. Instead, it's guiding the people to the solution. So think about that. How are you doing that? How are you doing that? We want you guys to walk away with things that you can think about the next day, that you can maybe implement the next day. How are you guiding others to the solution? So what do powerful questions look like? They're thought-provoking. They generate curiosity. Remember, he said, I'm listening to you and I'm curious. He followed the I'm curious with a question, right? They channel focus. They generate energy and forward movement, reflective conversation, service underlying assumptions, and inspire more questions. These are examples of some of the powerful questions. I'm gonna ask Nelu to post in the chat a PDF with examples of some powerful questions that hopefully you guys can take with you. Believe me, that PDF that I'm putting out there for you all as a coach is something that I have printed next to me all the time, because these are, again, it's for myself, it's a great area of improvement. But you see the questions here. What do some of these questions have in common? What's a commonality that you see here?
They're open-ended.
Yes.
Not like just straight yes or no questions.
Beautiful. What else?
One thing that I think was missing was this notion of respecting the other person's thoughts, like conveying to them that I'm listening to you and that what you say is important.
I think these kind of situations can get personal and political very easily. So it's always very important to establish the department or project goal and individual role very subtly. So you see, we are coming out clean, saying that this is not about you or me. It's about department, the project success, and yes, of course, we are the good team players. That's the method. So I mean, just wishy-washy talk can get it's okay for some time, but it can get personal very easily.
It can. So when you do conflict resolution and you're coaching two people that come to you and they're having a problem, or you have to get those folks together, that is one of the techniques. For conflict resolution, one of the many techniques is trying to find what they have in common, right? And they're both, if they're disagreeing, they both have a lot of passion for their thoughts and what they're disagreeing about. But what do they have in common? They both work for the same organization. They may be in the same department, in the same team. Try to find those commonalities and then find common ground. In conflict resolution, absolutely. On one-on-one coaching, if somebody comes to you with a problem, by using powerful questions, is you're leading them. You're teaching them how to fish. Well, what do you think about this? So what had real meaning for you in what you heard? What surprised you? You're kind of helping them, go through the thought process so that they can find their own solutions. This would be in a one-on-one question, but you can even do this with your teams as well. Any questions on that? They also start with a what. That's the other thing that they have in common. So Nelu, did you put the PDF on the chat?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Feel free to download that, guys. There's different powerful questions for many different scenarios. I love that PDF, and we're giving that to you guys as a gift today. But powerful questions start with what. They also start with hows. They don't start with why. They typically don't start with why. And we're talking specifically about powerful questions. I'm not doing problem resolution. I'm not doing the 5 whys. We're talking about powerful questions. Why do you think that they're recommending not to start a powerful question with a why?
Personal opinion.
It puts the person on defense.
Say it again, Bob.
it puts the person on defense. They have to explain themselves, and you're accusing them. It sounds like.
So if I ask you, Bob, hey, what happened, or not what happened? What do you think led to that situation versus why did that happen? Do those two feel a little different?
Yeah, sure.
So that's just an example. Rick, I have a question for you, sir. How are we doing with time?
Time-wise, you are.
I got more material, but
I know you do, Regina, but we have other meetups. We have every week we have a meetup.
That's what I was telling Rick. So we got to bring you back because Bob already bombed us in the chat.
Okay.
We got 20 more.
No, so let's do this. Let's do this. So we covered listening. We covered powerful questions. We covered some of the moving away from towards depending on the maturity of the organization, right? We covered the capabilities, but then we can do another meetup where we do the other half. I'd be more than happy to come back.
Yes, please.
Okay, thumbs down if we don't want her to come back.
Oh
Let's
my
do
God,
this.
not
Okay?
this.
Stop that, Rick.
This way, you're halfway, and this way we want her. Okay.
You have to be quicker with the mute button on Rick.
We need her to come back.
This discussion.
Yeah, we need to finish
quicker on the mute button.
Here's the question. I mean, and I know we're not done with the whole conversation, and there's so much more, because this is coaching. This is also some leadership techniques. From those of you who have never had an Agile coach in your organization, who haven't had anybody also serving in that role, when we asked about the value, what do you think now? Did you learn anything new? Did anything surprise you? What did you learn?
This is open mic. You guys can unmute yourself. So what did you learn new?
For me, I guess it's good being exposed to the different types of questions that we should be asking, trying to change our mindset, acting as a coach. So it's good to get as much information as possible to just try to change my way of thinking so that I could coach others.
Awesome.
Anyone else?
I think it's important to talk about the why. Don't discount that. And you know, if we do this again, I think the why should be prominent in the conversation.
Anyone else?
What are you walking away with that you can maybe think about tomorrow when you go back to your teams, when you go back to your area?
I see this as being a way of looking at the next step in that evolutionary process of developing ourselves as the servant leader as we walk into the war room, and we've got all these egos and emotions and problems and deadlines and technical contractual issues flying around, and be able to kind of step out of the whirlwind and get a feel for how we can kind of snatch one of those out at a time and bring them to resolution. This takes impediment remover to another level. And Regina, I want to say I'm so sorry. I didn't know how long we were going to spend on that exercise. I didn't duck out on it. I've been waiting for my daughter's music teacher to text me here, and I didn't want to double in the middle. So next time, if I can get another shot next time.
Absolutely, absolutely. So guys, this takes practice. This takes practice, and we were hoping that the way that we're showing it, decompartmentalizing it so you can do exercises at a time, because it takes practice. When we would have finished this, we would have gone through a circle where you've been doing the listening, where you've been doing the powerful questions, where you'll be doing the coaching, where you'll be doing the mentoring, because you got to learn how to understand what best technique to use in what situation. And it's very situational. but for practicing those techniques, I hope you guys take that with you.